idea of service. Service as one of, as far as I'm concerned, one of the primary ways of our spiritual journey and unfoldment, because it really puts our fifth principle into practice. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and you don't have to answer each one. I'll just do them all at the same time. And then just say, I will. So are you willing to follow the procedures and policies outlined by our bylaws? To be authentic during board discussions and decision-making? To be fiscally prudent? To be open to discussions and dialogues with community members, especially those who may offer a different point of view from the board? And are you also willing to hold those conversations that are confidential in confidence? And if so, say, I do. I do. I do. And so we are married now. No, just kidding. Thank you for helping us deepen our community. And as we awaken to our true purpose, can we all stand and give Marcheta the unity blessing together? Marcheta, we love you, we bless you, when we uphold the Christ as you. Just so you know, I went to a YOU international, you can be seated, an international rally once, and every region says that one differently, and so it's always this kind of sounds like a real chaotic one, and it's okay because it's all good. So let's open in prayer. So as we just take that breath, we connect with that divine presence within that's always there. On this beautiful day, this beautiful Minnesota day, we are so grateful for an opportunity to come together, to gather, whether it be via the internet or in person, to connect with each other and connect with that presence, that power of God, however we define and name that presence. We know and affirm that divine presence within us is guiding us, uplifting us, surrounding and holding us in times of need, and celebrating with us in those times of joy. And so as we move forward today, we come together with open hearts and with open minds, allowing the music, the meditation, the message to guide us, inspire us, possibly even challenge us to step ever greater into that awareness and into that power of that divine which seeks only our good. And so from that place of gratitude, gratitude for each other, gratitude for this beautiful community, gratitude for being alive and breathing on this beautiful blue-green earth, we say, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. And Dennis, how about the first song?
And Therese Schutte has graciously agreed to help out on both of these. So while she's getting set up, both songs are in the white book. The first one is number 6, Let Go and Let God. You're looking for the numbers at the bottom of the page. Some of these have numbers all over the page. This one is number 6 on the bottom. Let Go and Let God. We're going to sing the entire song through 2 times, and we'll add that tag at the very end. All right, if everyone's ready, here's a little intro. Here we go. Some days I do, some days I don't. Some days I will, some days I won't. Some days I sink, some days I float. Some days I get real smart and live by this quote. Let go and let God, let go and let God. Let go and let God be in charge and let my worries go. Let go and let God, let go and let God. Let go and let God be in charge and let my worries go. Back to the top all together. Some days I do, some days I don't. Some days I will, some days I won't. Some days I sink, some days I float. Some days I get real smart and live by this quote. Let go and let God. Let go and let God. Let go and let God be in charge and let my worries go. Let go and let God. Let go and let God. Let go and let God be in charge and let my worries go. Let go and let God be in charge and let my worries go. All right, you can be seated. Thank you. Thanks, Teresa.
Now that's the way to start. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. I'm Warren Wolf. I'm today's platform assistant. We have a few announcements today. Reverend Ray's actually gone over most of them already. We have the World Day of Prayer coming up Wednesday night and Thursday, and he went over the details of that. And we also have the Listening Circle, which is going to be on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, right? And you can find instructions on how to join us online on our Unity in the Heart website. And then also we'll have the meditation on Thursday at noon. Okay, I think I've got that all right. And in addition, a week from today, we'll have our annual picnic, which is going to be at Newell Park, which is just up the road on Fairview and Pierce Butler Road. We're going to be providing the plates and napkins, dinnerware, bottled water. Bring a dish to pass, or bring your own brown bag or any other kind of bag or dish to eat by yourself, all by yourself. And masks are optional. I will be wearing one much of the time. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to get together and greet each other in a way that we don't often have time to do here. So welcome everybody to do that. Any other announcements?
Did you need me to say anything about the show? Are show tickets already set or no? Okay, so if anyone is interested, Greg is performing in the new Church Basement Ladies musical, and it's called Church Basement Ladies 9. It's number 9. And there's a group going, so just see someone on the board afterwards if you're interested in joining us.
Cool, that would be cool. And it is now time for to recite our affirmation of faith. That's what you call it. In your bulletin, we read that together. There is one and only one presence and power active in my life and in the universe, the all-wise and loving Spirit of God. Let us also recite our vision statement for Unity in the Heart, which is also in your bulletin, together. Led by Spirit, we recognize God within everyone as we co-create infinite love, peace, and abundance in our global community. The daily word for today is ease. Sunday, September 4th, 2022. Beholding God in every circumstance helps me know ease. It's easy for me to find God in the glory of a sunrise and in the laughter of children, and to feel God's love as I get together with friends or family. Wherever there is wonder, joy, or fellowship, God is surely present. I remember that God is just as surely present when my responsibilities feel overwhelming, when conflict arises in a relationship, or when it feels as though there isn't enough of what I need. If I begin to feel tense, fearful, or frustrated, I remember that wisdom, love, understanding, and strength, all of the divine qualities that live within me, are ready to help me handle any challenge. Assured by my awareness of God's presence, I move with ease and grace through whatever this day brings. Those who listen to me will be secure and will live at ease without dread of disaster. Proverbs 1, verse 33, ease. And now it's time for our second congregational song,
which is also in the White Book. As I said, it's number 19. Number 19 in the White Book. Lead me to the light. Let's stand and sing together. Lead me to the light.
the Unity movement was founded on prayer. We would now like to focus our attention on our prayer needs today. Please take a moment to bring to mind any prayers that you may have. Your prayer may be a prayer of joy or gratitude, a prayer of concern for yourself or another, or anything that is close to your heart right now. Now, let us pray together. Our loving God, we know that all prayers are answered in the perfect way and time. Our hearts and minds are filled with divine spirit as we feel the presence and power of God working through us. We affirm the highest good in all situations. Those present, please place your prayer notes in the basket at offering time. We will hold them in prayer for 30 days and then send them on to Silent Unity for another 30 days of prayer. Also, you may send a prayer request to our prayer chaplains at unityintheheart@gmail.com. And now, Therese, it's time for our first guest song.
Good morning. Always a pleasure to be here. So, in thinking about prosperity for me anyway, it's remembering to understand what my prosperity is. I have to remember who I am. So I wrote this song about that, and it's called I Remember Who I Am. I remember who I am. I remember who I am, created in the image and likeness of God. I remember who I am. I'm strength, I am truth, I'm the wisdom of the earth, I'm the power to be free, and I remember who I am. I am love, I am peace, I'm the air that we breathe, I'm the depth of the sea, and I remember who I am. I remember who I am. I remember who I am, created in the image and likeness of God. I remember who I am. I am justice, I am courage, I'm the lightning in the sky, I'm the joy of the world, and I remember who I am. I'm the light, I'm the dark, I'm the setting of the sun, I'm the seed to be sown, and I remember who I am. I remember who I am. I remember who I am, created in the image and likeness of God. I remember who I am. I remember who I am. I remember who I am. I remember who I am.
Thank you, Therese. Appreciate that song. I'm actually going to reference it here in a second. So, good morning once again, and thank you all for being here. I actually really was surprised. I thought it was going to be a really low day. We got a few people who told me they were going to be gone, and it's always pleasant and just a nice surprise to see all the smiling faces. So thank you for being here. We're going to continue our series on living a prosperous life, and we started it a couple weeks ago with the idea of the first step is building that foundation. And the foundation is making a commitment to live the prosperity consciousness that we teach, that we hold to be the truth, to not allow circumstances, not allow conditions to deviate us from what we know is who we are and what we know is true about ourselves. Last week, and especially for those who missed our talk because of the internet problem, on those of you at home, we talked about vision. But the vision will carry us forward in that infinite range of all the possibilities forward. Vision allows us to make choices and carries us forward, especially when the storms and the conditions of life kind of swell up. It helps us make those slight adjustments and turns conditions into just details to be worked out. Today we're going to talk about the barriers, the shadows that keep us from living a whole and prosperous, authentic life. There are biases, and we each have them. Biases, stories, and shadows lurking within our subconscious mind that hold us in bondage because they act upon us without us being aware that they're there. And in terms of your song, for me to be truly whole, I have to embrace both the light side and the maybe, we won't call it dark side, we'll call it not so light side. And when I was getting ready to write my notes down and decide what I was going to talk about and how I was going to do it, a song popped in my head. So of course I went and I pulled up Frank Sinatra, and it was all of me, why not take all of me? The idea is, not for that for a guy who doesn't sing. The idea is that you get to take all of me, that divine presence that I express so wonderfully, but also those parts of me that maybe I'm a little bit hesitant to let you see and know about. In that darkness of that unconscious mind, they have power over us. They have power to affect us, to taint our vision of the world, to taint our choices, and even at times to control our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. The unconscious parts of our mind, it's the parts of our mind that our conscious mind doesn't want to acknowledge, doesn't want to see. Sometimes we're aware of them, but most oftentimes we're not. We just don't. We want them to be back there. But when you're carrying your baggage with you wherever you go, it can just get to be a little bit of a burden. There's a great recovery book called Drop the Rock, and I think I've used this before, but persons in the lake or the ocean and swimming and working so hard to get to the boat, to get to the ladder, to get out of the water, and the crowd on the boat is yelling at him. He gets to the ladder and he gets up where he can hear them, and they're saying, "Drop the rock." He's carrying a bunch of rocks and he lets it go. He climbs the way up the ladder. He lets go and he lets God, so good song, and climbs up the ladder, turns around and starts yelling to the next person, "Drop the rock." That unconscious part of it are the rocks we carry with us that we want no one to see, no one to know about. Charles Fillmore said, in The Atom-Smashing Power of the Mind, all things are in consciousness, and you have to learn to separate the erroneous from the true, the darkness from the light. Bring it all into the light. So we all have biases and shadows and stories that block us from a full realization of who we are. And they block us from living into that full abundance and prosperity that life has to offer. We hide these from ourselves and others out of fear. If anyone knew them, I mean, I've had this conversation in my head. If anybody knew this about me, then they wouldn't love me. They wouldn't respect me. They wouldn't let me stand up here and hold a microphone and talk to you. They would not let me do it. In fact, and there's nothing nefarious about it. We all do it. We had a diversity trainer at our Unity convention. And I was online, so I was monitoring the online group, and she asked the people in the audience who were live, she says, so who has a bias? So you have a room full of Unity ministers. And she went, a whole room full of enlightened people without biases. That's interesting. She says, I have a bias. She's a black lady, and she says, I have a bias. I don't like single black men, especially young ones. I'm afraid of them. That's my bias. I see them on the road. I cross to the other side. I wrap my purse around me. I'm just nervous around them. And my boyfriend thinks that's funny as a diversity trainer that I have a bias against my own race. And she says, until I claim that bias controls me. And then there's a few people raised their hand, and then we had a conversation about biases. The work then that we talk about at this stage of living our prosperous life is to make known to us, to ourselves, what up till now maybe is unknown, or to make it known and be explicit because we say, this is part of who I am. It's part of who I've been. To bring it to the awareness and then claim it. Working with your unconscious mind to uncover those parts that you repress and hide from everyone, including yourself most often. Michael Beckwith writes that we may just have a glimpse of our true self. That which is hidden behind a veil keeps us from totally embracing the true, authentic self and living that prosperous life that is our heritage, that we have the right to live. Now, who doesn't think they have any shadows or anything? Okay. That we have these, it's not, there's nothing wrong with it. We all have parts of us. We all have things that come up. Most of them, many of them are stuff that happened to us when we were too young to even be able to make a conscious decision, and we buried it. Some of it is what Charles Fillmore would call race consciousness. It's part of the entire culture, society. It's something that seems inbred in us. But we try to hide these aspects from others. We try to maintain an image that we project to the world. But one of my favorite authors growing up was Kurt Vonnegut, mostly because he's a sarcastic, funny son of a gun. But I just really loved Kurt Vonnegut, and he says, be careful who you pretend to be, because who you pretend to be is who you become and who you are. So we wear masks, we wear images, we project only that which we want people to know. We go into the office, we go into a family unit, we go into this, we go into that. And each one gets to see a portion, but no one really gets to see the true you. When I did a leadership training with Robin, it was called Mastery back 25 years ago probably, and one of the exercises was it was probably about this many people plus the coaches asking and just peppering you with one question: who are you? Who are you? Who are you? And at the conclusion, the trainer said there's actually a couple, I think they're probably more on the Buddhist side of monasteries in the Far East, where that's the only question that's ever asked. You turn a corner and somebody will confront you and say, who are you? To break through that idea that I'm the mask that I'm wearing, I'm the characteristic that I'm projecting, that the true me transcends all of that. We're all part of social systems of beliefs in our families, in our communities, in our world. And we tend to act out of these unconscious beliefs until we consciously choose to awaken to do something different. I remember most of you know Robin, those who are here for the first time, maybe you don't know my wife, but she's very soft-spoken, she's very kind. She grew up in a family that if you raised your voice, somebody was going to die. You know? And I grew up in a family who's ever the loudest wins. You know, my family's more like being in the middle of a rugby match, and you know, hers is more like being in a meditation room, you know, where everybody's kind of sitting around very quiet. And I kept saying for a while, not too many years, that, well, this is just the way I am. Until somebody confronted me and says, and all they said was one thing, really? That's just the way you are. So you have no control over the fact that you're loud and some people would say maybe belligerent at times. And I began to moderate myself and became calmer. And sometimes my voice will raise, but that's mostly because my hearing's going and I can't hear myself. You know, at least that's the new excuse that I use. I was even thinking about it, the book bannings that are going on. The book bannings, and let's be real, the book bannings are on the right and they're on the left. Both sides want to control what others get to read, what others get to experience, what others get to know about, out of a fear that if they know something that I don't have, that's not part of the belief system that I grow up in, they may change and start believing things differently, acting differently, knowing differently. So we'll rigidly control everybody so then we can feel comfortable about what it is. It's all because of fear. Because they're unconscious, they get in the way of our ability to make choices and live fully authentic. This is kind of really the theme. Anybody familiar with Brene Brown? I think probably a lot of people are. That's basically her main theme is you got to let it all out for you to be really authentic. Charles Fillmore says, Thou art the head of gold is true in every human. But in his ignorance, man thinks he is the feet of clay. This thought of his own inefficiencies darkens his mentality or our mentality. It's this idea that we have a limited view because so much of us is something I'm not conscious of. I'm still not conscious. What they call it peeling the onion. And I think they call it peeling the onion because oftentimes when we reveal some of these things, we're going to end up crying. You know, it's going to shock us. So we peel the onion and then we have our tears. The goal, though, isn't to reveal so that you can let it go and never experience it again. The goal really is to bring it forward so that you can embrace it and integrate it. It's part of who you are. One time I had a coach who said, don't try to get rid of your shadow because that's just leads you down a rabbit hole. She says, keep your shadow close to you. Keep that, embrace it. Bring it in there, love it, bring it right there. What do they say? Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Bring that thing that you don't want anybody to know about, bring it right in and connect it at the hip. Embrace it, claim it. The goal is to be whole, not to deny part of ourselves and keep pushing it away. That resistance allows it to still have power over us. We claim the dark and the light, the yin and the yang. When I was down in Guatemala and we were doing a ceremony with the Mayans, and he said, the Mayan priest said, or shaman said, we have a ceremony every day. And every day the ceremony is to balance the universe, to balance the light and the dark. The dark isn't bad. the light isn't good. They balance each other. The problem is, without the ceremony, the dark tends to overwhelm the light, and the world gets out of balance. So we spend all of our ceremonies rebalancing the light and the dark. They're all part of the whole of who we are. We do the work to make explicit what was implicit and then bring it in to who I am. When I was early in recovery, I was told by many people I was going to apply for a new job. Well, don't tell anybody that you're in recovery because they might have a judgment about it. So probably within the first 2 minutes, I would tell my interviewer, by the way, I'm in recovery. Always taking the best advice from everybody. And I said, if the job gets in the way of my recovery, I will quit the job. I just want you to know that up front. So if that's an issue for you, then don't hire me. And almost invariably, I was respected for that and hired for it because they knew they could trust my judgment. Again, Charles Fillmore. By analyzing ourselves, we find we have unconsciously separated ourselves into different personalities. We should do this work constantly. We should enter into an understanding that the I am power is given to us in consciousness and then join and unify that consciousness with the great Christ mind. Doesn't say go through and reject parts and keep some. He says unify it, bring it together. And I'm really going to date myself on this one. As Pogo said, I have met the enemy, and it is me. So when we're doing this work, we ask ourselves some questions, and usually it's either like in a meditation. What are the messages I tell myself? How do I start over. How do I protect myself hiding the masks I wear, avoiding and disconnecting either from myself or from others? What is the source of this message? What is the source of this story? What is the source of these words that I keep hearing in my head? I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I don't have. Anytime I hear that story, I can't, I don't, I won't. There's a story in there that I can begin to ask those questions. Was what happened something internal that happened to me? Or was it something that's external that just seems to be part of who I am, way beyond anything that I had any part in creating? But whatever those sources are, whatever the reason we bring in, we don't do it to create a justification. We do it so that we can integrate and make it part of that wondrous whole. We bring it into our awareness. And now, once we bring it into our awareness, we have the power to make choices, to make different choices, to act and think and behave differently, so that we can reconcile that past with our present. And then we have the ability to live an abundant, prosperous life that is our inheritance. It is our right to live free of those barriers that would keep us in bondage to that unconscious parts of our mind. And with that, let us turn to a time of meditation.
In the sanctuary of my heart, I find truth. In the sanctuary of my heart, I am whole. In
are one.
So now as we take a moment and we turn to that sanctuary of our heart, we take a breath, let go of the awareness of the outer world, and turn our attention inward. If you're at home, I invite you to just put aside anything, any activity, and allow yourself to be comfortable. And as you turn yourself within and you connect with that sanctuary in your heart, that upper room, and we close that door to the outer world, and we just spend some time in sacred communion with that divine presence within us. As we do, we are gentle with ourselves. If there's any issues, anything coming up from the talk or from our days, we just ask the simple questions of, what is going on? What are my thoughts? What are my stories? And if we've been triggered by something, we asked possibly, what's the original source of that trigger? And if nothing comes up, we simply let it go. We allow our time to simply be quiet in the presence, allowing that space and that time to simply be aware and awake in that stillness. So now as we continue with this time of sacred breathing and connection, we bring our attention back fully to the present moment. We acknowledge that time that we stepped apart for even a brief moment and are grateful. We know and we affirm that that presence, that power is available to us at any time. At any time we can take a breath and connect, to step outside of any of the issues or conditions of the world and take a moment to connect. From that connection, we know we are guided and provided with all that we need to thrive. And in a world that works for everyone, I know I am included. And so from that place of gratitude for the opportunity to connect with that presence within, we say, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
in the sanctuary of our hearts. Soul meets soul in the sanctuary of our hearts. We will grow in the sanctuary of our hearts. We are one, one with God, one with love, my beloved. We are one.
Thank you, Reverend Ray, for your message and meditation today. One of the experiences I always have at Unity is I come and I hear the message I need to hear that day, and I hear the music I need to hear that day, and I'm blessed again. Thank you so much. Now is the time when we acknowledge that all we have comes from God, our source. With our gifts, we express our openness to give and receive and our gratitude for God's generous supply.
My gift goes forth on the wings of love, and it lands where it can heal and bless. It returns to me, multiplied 1,000-fold, as the universe says yes, yes, as the universe says yes.
Let's join together in our affirmation for gifts, which is printed in your bulletin. Together, divine love and wisdom flowing through me, bless and multiply all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Let us join together in the blessings of our gifts. With grateful hearts, we bless our gifts and say, thank you, God, for the abundant blessings we enjoy. We release our gifts as they go out into the world, expressing God's unlimited love, abundance, and supply. For those of you who wish to contribute electronically, you will find a donate button on our webpage after the service, or you may mail your contributions to Unity in the Heart, 1898 Eaglehart Avenue, St. Paul, Minnesota, 55104. And in addition to those gifts, we, as a congregation, tithe to Unity Worldwide Ministries, to Silent Unity, and to Keystone Community Services. And so thank you very much. And now it is time for our second wonderful song. Thank you. I know you.
So this is another song that's, it's about giving thanks, but it's also about prosperity. I know that if I can't thank the universe for what I have, I won't have prosperity. I don't know, it's like a chicken and egg thing, right? It's called I Live in Gratitude. I had the idea that gratitude was hard to name. I learned this little trick. I see gratitude in every moment of today. I'm living gratitude, I'm living gratitude, I'm living gratitude today. My mind is open, my heart is full of gratitude today. I'm thankful for the rain, I'm thankful for the pain, because now I see the light. I'm thankful for the sun that provides for everyone. I'm living gratitude today. I'm living gratitude, I'm living gratitude, I'm living gratitude today. My mind is open, my heart is full of gratitude today. I'm thankful for each fresh breath of air I take. It's the very breath of God. I'm thankful for my tears, they call my spirit to hear. I'm living gratitude today. You know this chorus, sing it with me. Here we go. I'm living gratitude, I'm living gratitude, I'm living gratitude today. My mind is open, my heart is full of gratitude today. I'm thankful for the music that bounces off my strings and all the joy that it brings. I'm thankful for my friends and all the love we share. I'm living gratitude today. I'm living gratitude, I'm living gratitude, I'm living gratitude today. My mind is open, my heart is full of gratitude today. Now this whole idea of gratitude is huge. There's too many things, I can't get it all in one song. So I left a part here for you to write. So whenever I sing, I'm thankful for, you're going to give me what you're thankful for. I'm thankful for, I'm thankful for, I'm thankful for, I'm thankful for. There you go. I'm thankful for, I'm thankful for, I'm living gratitude today. I'm living gratitude, I'm living gratitude, I'm living gratitude today. My mind is open, my heart is full of gratitude today. One more. I'm living gratitude, I'm living gratitude, I'm living gratitude today. My mind is open, my heart is full of gratitude today. My mind is open, my heart is full of gratitude today.
See, Warren was right, thanking you for the song ahead of time. So I want to thank everybody who was in service today. Lee back on camera, Greg on our soundboard, Dennis doing multiple duties again, Therese and Warren. So thank you guys for your service, and thank you, Marcheta, for saying yes to the board, and thank all you for being here and coming out and being part of Unity in the Heart. Let's all stand and we'll do our peace song followed by our prayer for protection.
peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The
light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Go in peace and have a great week.